This is Gemara Nedarim Daf Mem. We're holding on the bottom of Lamites Amid Beis, about 6 lines in the bottom, in the middle of this sugya of Biker Chaylim and all the incredible mailos and schar that come with it. So says the Gemara, 6 lines in the bottom. The first one line is Pamayim Bayoim. As we finished yesterday, the Rava taught us that you're allowed to even do Biker Chaylim Afilu. It comes along, Amar Rav Achbar, Chanina, kol mevakar chayla noitel echad mishisha b'tzayroi. If you're mevakar chayla, you take away 1/60th of his sar, of his pain. Some actually gairis over here of his chayli, of his sickness. Amri lost, says the Gemara, 1 second, I'll tell you a great chap. Imkein leil shitin v'lukmi. Let 60 people come, each one takes away his 1/60th. And then what? That's it. They'll be healed. A beautiful way of making people better. So Amar Alehi responded, Ki Yisuraisa Dvei Rabbi. No, this is like the din of the Yisur Nachasim, the 10th of the properties of Dvei Rabbi, which we will explain in a moment. And Ube Ben Giloi, and a Ben Giloi. What exactly does this mean? Titania, as we learned in a Braisa. Rabbi Yomer Basan Zanis ben Nichsei Achim. We have a daughter that her father was nifter, her brothers inherited the father's estate, and then that girl goes to get married. The halacha is the brothers have to pay 1/10 of up to 1/10 of the estate as her dowry. So as a Gemara we learned extensively in Ksubis. So what's the halacha? Now tell us, Easter Nechasim, she takes 1/10 of the estate when she gets married. Amrulai, they said to Rabbi, Lidvarecha, based on what you're saying that she has to get 1/10, Mishesh as her banais, someone who has 10 daughters, Uben and 1 son, Ein lo leben b'makei banas klum. That son is going to get nothing. Why? Because 10 girls, each one is going to take 1/10, and what's going to happen? Boom! The son's left with nothing left. Amr lahem. So Rabbi responded, Rishayna delas Yisur Nechasim. The first one takes 1/10. Shniya b'marshe Yisayra. The second one was left over. Ushlishet b'marshe Yisayra v'chazeres v'chalekes b'shaveh. So what does this mean? It means we have $1,000. The first girl takes 10%, takes 100. Now we have $900. The second girl takes 10%, which is $190. Now we have $810. The third girl gets 10% of that, $81, $700, etc. And that's how it doesn't actually get depleted, even if there are 10 girls. But the last detail, this was a ksubis sugya, v'chayzeres v'chalekes b'shaveh. After each one takes 1/10, they don't actually take 1/10. Because in my example, as we just saw, the first girl is getting 100, and when you're down to the 5th girl, she's getting much less. So you take all of that, you pool it all together, and then all the girls get the 10th of the estate. So going back to us, so when someone visits the sick, it takes away a 60th of his disease, it only means a 60th and a 60th and a 60th of that. The second qualification was Ube Ben Giloi. What exactly does it mean, Ben Giloi? Is a bit of a machlekes. The Mefarish over here on the left side of your page says Bachar Kamaisa Yazakin Lizakin, meaning it is the same age, and the Ran over here speaks out what's Ben Gilai on the first very wide line of the Ran. He explains Shenoilan Amavakar Bimazoloi Shacholoi. Has to be that you're born in the same mazel. That's when you take away the sickness from him. Continues the Gemara in the last line of Lametesa Mabeis of Chalbo Chalosh of Telboy got sick. Nafek. Achriz Rav Kahana. So Rav Kahana went out, and Rav Kahana started announcing that Rav Chalboy is sick. So everyone could Rav Chalboy boyish. Rav Chalboy is not well, of course, so that they could dive in that Rav Chalboy Mirta Hashem could have a refuah shalema. So Rav Kahana is going out. He's announcing that Rav Chalboy is not well, and what happens? Lo ika the kaasi. What happened is no one came to visit. He's announcing he's sick. Excuse me, I said so they could daven for him. Of course they could daven for him, but in our sugyos they come and visit him. But no one came. Amr lo. So what happened was Rav Kahana said, Lo kachai amaisa v'talmid echad. Was this not the story with one talmid mitalmid Rav Akiva from the talmidim Rav Akiva, and realize this is Rabbi Akiva's talmidim, very important. Shachala that got sick. And no one came to visit him. And Rav Akiva himself had to go visit the Talmud because no one else went. And because Rav Akiva came in, and what did he do? He was kibdai, he swept the floor, and he sprinkled the water on the dust. That's how the Talmud got better. So Rav Kahana is saying, what's going on? Why is no one going to visit Rav Chalbai? So Amar Lai. So the Talmidim said to Rabbi, in that story, the Talmud said to Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi, Hichisani. Rabbi, you brought me back to life. And Yatz Rabbi Kiva v'darish. At that moment, Rabbi Kiva went out and taught in the public, Kol Misha Ein Mevaker Chaylim, Ke'ilu Shayfech Damim, Rachman al-Itzlan. Look how powerful Bikur Chaylim is. So says Rav Kahana, Rav Cholish is not well, people should go visit. Just to parenthetically mention, the Mefarshim speak out, this was Rav Akiva, unfortunately his Talmidim, Lo Nagu Kavod Zebez. That was another reason why they did not go visit this Talmud that was not well. Continues the Gemara, about 8 lines. The first word on the line is Ke'ilu Shevech Damin. Sounds like it's a Ke'ilu. It's not really that you killed him, etc. Ki Asa Rav Dimi. When Rav Dimi came from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel Amr, he said, "Call him Mavakar Zachayla Goyim L'Shichi." He caused the Chayla to go better. Choshein Mavakar Zachayla Karim L'Shayamas. You're causing him to die. Says the Gemara, my Garama, well, how do you cause him to get well? How do you cause him to, on Rahman al-Islan, die? If you visit him, you daven, you should get better. If you don't visit him, you daven that he dies. What? You're davening for someone else to be nifter? I understand. Maybe it's not such a good thing to not visit. But what does it mean? You're going to daven that he won't live? Ella explains the Gemara, you're right. If you don't visit him, what are you going to do? Nothing. You're not going to daven that he's not going to live. You're not going to daven that he will not live. But this could actually cause him to be nifter. Because if you would have went, you would have been able to daven, and your tefillah would have helped him. Now that you didn't go, you didn't daven, and that's how it could cause him to perish. Rachmana litzlan. Continues the Gemara, Rava. When Rava turned sick, the first day he wasn't well, don't tell people. Why? I don't want my mazel to get worse. What exactly that means? Mazel means luck. You don't want his luck to worsen if people know about it. Okay, whatever that means, Rava didn't want right away everyone to know. But from that moment onwards, if you're sick for 2 days, you say, go announce it in the marketplace. Why? Listen to this one. The Rava, the Heilige Rava, he says, if people don't like me, if people don't like me, let them be liyachid, let them be happy that I'm not well. So why does he want people to be happy he's not well? And says in the pasuk, when your enemy falls, you should not rejoice. Why not? Because if you rejoice over your enemy falling, that's going to make your enemy get better. So Rava says, those who don't like me, let them rejoice, and that'll make me get better. And those who like me, they're going to daven, and I'll get better. So that's how Rava would split up. On day one, he wouldn't tell people he wasn't well, but afterwards he would. Amar Rav continues, he saves the chayla from the din shel ganim shenemar ashe maskil el dol, says the pasuk. Praisefully is the one that thinks about the needy. B'yom ra'ah, on their evil bad day, Malteu Hashem will save them. And what does this mean? Ein dal ela chayla shenemar. The pasuk says midla yivotzeni. Midalo yivotzeni. You will end with sickness. So we see that on the day that he's a chayla, if you daven for him, it's going to save him from the Dina Shal Gehenna. Minami, says the Gemara, Minadin Kara, clear out from the following pasuk, 4 lines from the white lines. Maduata Kacha, says the pasuk, why are you sickly? Dal ben Amelch bebakar the Gaimer, morning after morning, Ein Ra el Gehenim, and when the pasuk says Ra first Gehenim Shenemar, Kopal Hashem the Manei Gam Rashli Yomra Vim Biker Maschari. So what's going to happen if you actually visit him? Maschari Kedamer needs to Dina Shal Gehenim. Says Gemara, what's your question? You just said what Ischar is. Ischar is that you're saving him from Gehenim. Ella, says the Gemara on the last. Ella says the Gemara on the last narrow line. As we know, we say every morning in Elu Dvarim that Bikur Cholim is one of the entities that not only do we get schar lasid lavai in the next world, but even get schar in this world. So it says the Gemara, if you're mevakrim, what's the schar? Hashem yishmereu v'chayehu. Hashem is going to guard over him, and Hashem will save him. V'ushar be'eretz al tetneu. And Hashem he'll be fortunate, he'll be wealthy in this world, and you will not give him over to his enemies. Hashem yishmereu, what does that mean? Hashem, he'll be guarded from his Yitzhahara. V'chayehu, what do you mean the pasuk says he'll get better? Min Yisurim. He won't have Yisurim. V'asher ba'aretz. What does the pasuk mean? V'ushar, and he'll be wealthy, he'll be fortunate in the land. Shi'akol mischabdim bai. Everyone will take pride, everyone will be honoring him. And the pasuk concluded, you will not give him to the enemies. She is damenu loy reim. He'll have friends. So all these incredible things are happening. Why? Because you're mavakir chaylim. He's going to have friends. Ki Naaman, like the friends of Naaman, who was unwell, and Shiripu Asaratai, but she was healed. Her friends told her what to do. She was healed from Mitzvah. And you don't want to have friends like Rechavam, Shechalku as Malchusai, that caused his kingdom to be split up. You see the importance of friends. It can mean the world of a difference. A friend that is giving proper advice can end up saving one's life, whereas a friend giving the incorrect advice could end up destroying one's entire kingdom. Tanya, we learned in a brayser. If young people tell you to build, Uzkenim Sasur, and the Zkenim, the elders, tell you to destroy, Shemal is Zkenim Al Tishmal Yeladim, because we just spoke about the advice of Rechavam versus Naaman, the friends of Rechavam that made him lose his kingdom to Naaman, who healed their life. The Gemara continues that when it comes to advice, trust in the elderly and not in the Yeladim, that even the Yeladim that tell you to build and this kid tell you to destroy, so it sounds like destroy, it's crazy. No, listen to them and destroy. Shebinyan Yeladim stira, because the building of children is destruction, is stira Zakanim, Benin, Visimilar Davers, Yerchavim and Shleima, because what happened to Yerchavim, by unfortunately, the Yerchavim and Shleima, if you listen to the right people, then what happens, even though that which Rechavam listened to were considered Yeladim, and therefore he lost his kingdom, it was divided. Omer Rav Shisha, Brei Derav Idi, says Rav Shisha's name, Rav Idi, Loi Lisa'id Inish, one should not visit. We're going back to Bikr Chaylim over here. You should not visit someone not in the first 3 hours of the day, nor in the last 3 hours of the day. Why not? So that you don't lose you don't give up from davening for him. What does that mean? Also in the first 3 hours of the day, Rav Chadaite. The Chayil looks very good, so you're going to go visit him in the first 3 hours of the day. He looks great. You're not going to daven. Basrais, in the last 3 hours of the day, Takiv Cholshi looks very sick, and as well, we're worried you're not going to daven for him, so you shouldn't visit him neither in the first nor in the last 3 hours of the day. Amar Rav and Amar Rav Minayin. About 7 lines in the bottom. The first word on the line is Sha'akadosh Baruch Hu Zanis HaChayla. How do we know that Hashem sustains the Chayla? Hashem, the pasuk says, Hashem Yisadenu L'Eresh Devay. Hashem will fortify him on his sick bed. Amar Rav and Amar Rav Minayin Sha'Shechina Shuriya L'Malam Yimitas HaChayla. We know the Shechina rest upon the head above the bed of a Chayla. Hashem Yisadenu L'Eresh Devay. Tanami Hachi, a raya to this. So if you're going to visit the Chayla, don't sit on a chair, don't sit on a bench. Don't sit on a bed, don't sit on a bench, and not on a chair. Ella misativ, you should put something in your head. Why are you sitting on the ground? Because the Shechina is there. You have to act with the proper accord, with the proper reverence. V'amar Ravin Amar Rav Mitra b'marava sahada. When the rain falls in Eretz Yisrael, this is almost very, very random because it's Ravin Amar Rav. That's where we bring it in. So it says Ravin and Amar Rav, 2 lines at the bottom. When there's rain in Marava in Eretz Yisrael, Sada Rabba Pras. What does that mean? The Euphrates River, the Pras, will be a Sada Rabba, will be a great eidos, a witness that there's rain in Eretz Yisrael. Meaning, when the Euphrates River rises, it's coming from the rain in Eretz Yisrael. But says the Gemara, Pligi de Shmuel, Damar Shmuel, Nahara. Shmuel explains, Nahara mikifi mitav misbarich, that the river, the Euphrates, isn't getting rained from Eretz Yisrael, rather it comes up from the bedrock underneath. And Upliki de Shmuel ad Shmuel, and in reality, this statement of Shmuel argues on a different statement of Shmuel. Damar Shmuel and Amay Metarim is Zeichlin. Shmuel said a famous statement: water cannot be used as a mikvah when it is Zeichalim, when it is running, and that's actually this massive ran that you're looking at in front of you is dealing with this nikuda, dealing with this din of the water being mitar b'zeichlim, which is one of the concerns why it's not so simple to just go jump into any body of water for a mikvah, neither to use any body of water for tefillas kelim. Tefillas kelim is a din daraisa, and if the water is zeichalim, that's going to be the issue. So says Shmuel, you can't elapras the Euphrates b'yomei Tishrei belvad, only during Tishrei. That's when we know that it's not going to be zeichlin. The issue with zeichlin primarily is that the rainwater is going to be miskaber over the water that's sitting there, and it's going to be an issue. And we conclude with Avud Shmuel Avid Lohain Mikvais Lebenasei. The Shmuel's father made mikvais for his daughters b'yomei Nisan, in the days of Nisan. That's when he allowed them umavsi b'yomei Tishrei, and he made mats for them in the days of Tishrei. Now, why exactly he made mats is a large discussion. We're going to conclude over here with looking at the Mefarish. He has a simple explanation. The father of Shmuel, Shmuel doesn't know like this Shmuel that says you could only use it on Tishrei. As we see, the father of Shmuel is allowing them to go to the mikvah both on Nisan and on Tishrei in the river. So says the Gemara, he made the mikvahs yemi Nisan, lafisha b'yemi Nisan, rabin noitfin ala zeichlin. It's more than noitfin than the zeichlin. Machos like a shamish, harikola ha-shlagim v'akarach, shenispashu, ba'in v'mayim derech sinairis, all the rainwater that runs down, davlu she'uvim, and therefore that's din of mayim she'uvim, which is kosher for a mikvah. Avalo ba'im derech sinairis, elam elan shaitvin uba'im b'tayvlim b'han. So the father Shmuel held you allowed to be tayvil on that. K'damar zavav v'nid l'azilazim b'mei mikvah shal mem sa afilu megishavim b'chunasim shal masidim mayim chayim al zav l'vad. The only time you need a spring is for a zav, but for a nida you could use mayim b'chunasim. You could use, of course, like we know, regular rainwater as long as it's not she'uvim, as long as it's not drawn water. Okay, that's a large sugya. But the father of Shmuel allowed them, he made mikvahs, he partitioned off the walls so they could go into the mikvah Yemi Nisan, like the first statement of Shmuel. And in Tishrei, what would he do? He would make mats. What were the mats? Mefarish here explains because there was tet, the bottom of the river was all echi. For a completely different reason. Because if they step on the floor of the river, it's going to be tit, it's going to be some dried up mud, it's going to get in their feet, and it's going to cause the chatzitza, it's going to cause the interposition between themselves and the rain on the water of the river, of the mikvah, and invalidate the tefillah. So this father of Shmuel, like the first statement of Shmuel, and B'siyat Shmuel will pick it up from the two dots in the next year.